Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Guyana's opposition leader not ruling out looking outside the country for his nominee to lead the elections body. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, June 27. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Guyana's opposition leader Barack Jagdeo says he has begun consultations to come up with a list of people he will propose to choose a new head of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM. And he says he also intends to look outside Guyana for possible nominees. Jagdeo noted that the Constitution allows for a citizen of any Commonwealth nation to be among the nominees for the top GECOM post, which he says he's not opposed to. But he still hopes President David Granger will look at the 18 names he previously rejected. The search for a new GECOM chairman follows the resignation of retired Justice James Patterson on Monday, a week after the Caribbean Court of Justice ruled that the process leading to his appointment by President Granger was flawed and therefore unconstitutional. The Constitution requires the President to consult with the opposition leader in appointing a GECOM chairman.
I'm hoping to meet with the President, particularly on this matter. And we're hoping that he would have had the 18 names and that he is prepared to say if any of the 18 names are acceptable. And we've started the process of soliciting new names just in case. And we are prepared to explore bringing names from outside of Guyana, because as far as we look, you can submit names from the Commonwealth, from people from the Commonwealth. So we are prepared to engage, as I said, on a one-on-one and continuously until we resolve this matter.
Meanwhile, the opposition leader says he has not yet received any response from the President to his proposal to meet to discuss the matter of appointing a new GECOM chairman. Jagdeo earlier this week sent a letter to Granger indicating his availability to meet. We get more in this Newsroom Guyana report.
The letter, signed by Opposition Chief Whip Gail Teixeira, was addressed to Director of the Ministry of the Presidency Joseph Harmon and was released to the media on Tuesday night by the Office of the Opposition Leader. The letter came one day after former GECOM Chair Justice Retired James Patterson was forced to leave the elections body after the Caribbean Court of Justice ruled that the process for his appointment was flawed. The retired judge was unilaterally appointed by the President in 2017 after he rejected 18 names submitted by the opposition leader in accordance with the Constitution of Guyana. President of the CCJ, Justice Adrian Saunders, delivering his ruling on June 18th, suggested that the President and opposition leader meet and deliberate on the names before they are submitted. On Wednesday, Kemraj Ramjatan, leader of the Alliance for Change, the smaller faction of the coalition government, said he supports that recommendation made by the CCJ.
He says they must, and he bolded the word must, that they must meet and work out the 6 names together. And then, once it is acceptable to the President then selects one of the 6. I think that is extraordinarily a progressive move. And so that should be abided by.
The President last week sent a letter to the opposition leader inviting him to a meeting to discuss the current political situation. The CCJ gave both sides until July 1st to present written submissions on what consequential orders should be taken. On July 12th, the court will issue those orders on the way forward.
Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has invited 3 overseas organizations to launch a joint mission on the issue of electoral reform. There have been repeated calls for electoral reform as the country prepares for general elections constitutionally due next year. But the 3 main political parties, the ruling Dominica Labour Party, the opposition United Workers Party and the Dominica Freedom Party, have been at odds about the way forward. In a statement issued late Wednesday, Skerrit said representatives from CARICOM, the Commonwealth Secretariat, and the Organization of American States will be meeting with members of government, the political parties, and other stakeholders.
I have asked them to make recommendations on the best way to implement the reforms to introduce identification cards for the purpose of voting and to revise the register of electors, to ensure that the confidence of the general public can be reposed in the decisions taken to move the electoral process forward. I have received a favorable response from all 3 organizations, and I expect in the coming weeks that their representatives will be on island to undertake this mission. This is a continued expression of the government's efforts to ensure that on a sensitive matter like this, that there is complete transparency and that every opportunity is given to the public to discuss the issues in a mature and rational manner.
Skerrit added that over the last few months, the public has been bombarded with misinformation, half-truths and lies by people who pretend to want electoral reform, but have done everything to frustrate the implementation of the measures.
We accept that our system can be improved, and this is why this government, since 2013, has been working towards the implementation of recommended reforms to make it mandatory to use identification cards for voting and to ensure that we can have a more accurate register of electors. All of the requirements set out and the funding requested by the Electoral Commission have been made available to it in a timely manner. The Commission has indicated to the public since 2016 that all it requires in order to move forward is the legislative authority. The attempts to bring this legislation to Parliament has been resisted by some who fail to realize and appreciate that this legislation achieves the very thing that they claim to want.
Authorities in Jamaica are being warned that the country's reputation will be at risk if serious action is not taken to fight corruption. Now, one member of the Integrity Commission, Dirk Harrison, says the country's anti-corruption strategies are not working, but the Director of Public Prosecutions does not agree. More in this TVJ News report.
Crime and corruption, a major inhibitor to growth in the Jamaican economy. Well, that's the view of many, including Professor of Caribbean Sustainable Development at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Anthony Clayton. He believes that not only has crimes like murders turned away investors, but questionable links with criminals is another issue.
In 2 minutes, we have people in public life who help to create this problem with gangs and high levels of violence, and that link has never been yet severed, and that is still a challenge that we have yet to face. What, of course, that does is it undermines the moral authority of government.
For head of the Corruption Prosecution Division of the Integrity Commission, Dirk Harrison, in addition to that view, corruption continues in Jamaica because of the continued silence of oversight bodies.
The crime plans and the anti-corruption plans are not working. The major organized anti-corruption task force, MOCA, is yet to be fully operationalized, despite promises. The Integrity Commission that I'm a part of has not prosecuted a single person in 15 months.
He says while he and other members of the commission may have different views, he believes questions have to be asked of policymakers in relation to the shortcomings of these bodies. However, despite Mr. Harrison's position, Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, Paula Llewellyn, has a different view. She believes the justice system has been working as persons continue to be sentenced for varying crimes. She blasted those who thought otherwise, insisting that they were disillusioned by movies that suggest crime is solved overnight. She says her office is focused on two things:
the law and evidence. Personal emotion, personalities, we are not into it. So even if the court of public opinion or any other opinion would like to see the guillotined head of an individual on a platter, if there is no evidence to prosecute, to mount a viable prosecution, then as a matter of law, we have to say so.
She also praised the police, pointing out that based on proper investigation, more guilty pleas are being heard in court.
You're watching Caribbean Newsline. Still to come, sharks claim the life of an American tourist in the Bahamas. The details after the break.
Welcome to this year's 50th Caribbean Broadcast Union Assembly on the island of San Andres. San Andres is a small archipelago located in between Jamaica and Panama in the Western Caribbean Sea. A lush, exotic island rich in culture, history, gastronomy, and breathtaking scenic views. Known for its beaches and 7-colored crystalline waters, the island of San Andres will be proudly hosting this year's event. CBU members will enjoy top-of-the-line accommodations for an unforgettable experience in San Andres, connecting Caribbean nations through this year's 50th edition of the CBU Assembly.
A 21-year-old American tourist died following a shark attack in the Bahamas on Wednesday. According to police, the woman, who has been identified as Jordan Lindsay from California, was on a snorkeling expedition with her family when she was attacked by 3 sharks near Rose Island. The incident occurred around 2 p.m. local time. Deputy Police Commissioner Paul Rowley said Lindsay was bitten on her arms, legs, and buttocks, and her right arm was bitten off. She was rushed to Doctors Hospital in Nassau, where she was pronounced dead. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the Ministry of Tourism, on behalf of the government, expressed its condolences to Lindsay's family and friends. A statement from the ministry said investigations into the incident are ongoing and further details will be released when available. Now, in the meantime, the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources has issued precautionary advisories to the public. Authorities in Barbados are searching for 2 American tourists who vanished after going jet skiing. Now, Oscar Suarez and Magdalena DeVille from New Jersey disappeared on Monday after renting a jet ski on a beach on the west coast. According to reports, they were both wearing life jackets at the time. The jet ski operator became concerned about 30 minutes after renting them the water sport vehicle and not seeing them return. And then he asked other operators to be on the lookout for them before later notifying police that they were missing. Police, Coast Guard, and the members of the regional security system have been searching for the pair ever since. Antigua's Education Minister Michael Brown has welcomed the approval of the 4th landed campus of the University of the West Indies in St. John's. Vice-Chancellor Sir Hilary Beckles made the announcement on Wednesday And Minister Brown said plans are already moving ahead for the opening of the Five Islands campus in the new academic year. More in this report from ABS TV News.
Basking in the momentous occasion for the government and the people of this country, and by extension the OECS sub-region, they were out at the forefront of the discussions on behalf of the government. With September beckoning, Minister Brown explained the next steps.
There's been an overwhelming number of persons who have already indicated their interest, and I'm talking about all levels of qualifications, who have already indicated their interest to lecture at the university, the campus that is here. We will advise that once, now that the announcement has been made, there will be the committee, a new committee will be put in place, which will work very quickly on the operationalization of the campus.
Minister Brown also explained what this will mean for the students.
And for those students who are already registered in one of the colleges that has been identified as one of those institutions that's going straight towards the bachelor's degree, it will be monumental. So after they would have done the assessment, we may have our very first graduating class next year.
We asked about the cost to students. Minister Brown says savings from more cost-effective and efficient processes will be passed on to students.
The software that's used for maintaining student grades and transcripts and all the rest of it, and for doing Bursa, the university is in the process of upgrading that now. Antigua and Barbuda will come in on the new system rather than having to transition to the old system. So those costs are already cut.
Over to Trinidad and Tobago now, where the Twin Island Republic's police service will be outfitted with a gender-based violence unit. Police Commissioner Gary Griffiths says the new unit is designed to better handle abuse cases. We get more in this report from TTT News.
There's a significant domestic and gender-based violence issue in this country, and law enforcement must be able to adjust to aptly address it. This according to Police Commissioner Gary Griffiths.
I think there were 20 or 30 odd persons killed last year based on gender-based violence. If it is, we put a lot of emphasis on gang activity, 300 persons being killed. But this is also another avenue where I think we could put a major dent in homicides committed.
The Top Cop says the soon-to-be-launched gender-based violence unit will focus on changing the way cases are handled by police, all in hopes of creating a safe space where victims, both women and men, feel more comfortable in coming forward. More specifically, the goal is to roll out an efficient E999 and online reporting service.
Because many persons would not be coming to make the reports because of confidentiality, because of the fear of retaliation, reprisal, not expecting that they will not get the respect or the support or the action by the police service. So by having this system done, we expect there to be a spike in the number of reports.
The select group of officers who will occupy the unit have been subjected to sensitivity training from U.S.-based law enforcement, equipping them with the skill to handle such vulnerable matters. The training also included guidance on how to approach reports from members of the LGBT community, whose statistics show are often at risk for acts of violence.
That's why I changed it from domestic violence with gender-based violence. So it also involves that situation because there's also, in fact, 3 of the homicides earlier this year was based on that.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies crash out of the ICC Cricket World Cup. The details after this.
Okay, so now I kind of want to just go back just a little bit. So we went from security, right? And then when you were introduced into the films, you were what?
So I'm a locations person. So basically I started off as a PA.
Nice.
The bottom.
So you started off as a PA?
Yeah, locations PA, like the bottom. You know, like literally.
Wait a minute. So you start off at the bottom? You know most PAs say that they have to be there for 10 years?
After listening to fans beg for new music, Rihanna has finally confirmed that she's working on a new album that will reflect her Caribbean background more than anything she's done before. Although the star has played the dancehall and reggae vibes on songs such as Ponder Replay, Man Down, and Work, her pop and R&B tracks have been the foundation of her musical success. In a new interview with T Magazine, the Barbadian boss shared that her next album, tentatively titled R9, will truly speak to her Bajan roots.
So let's say somebody's just a regular salaried individual, W-2 wage earner, but they're a homeowner. What do you recommend? Do you recommend that they just find a few things to sell on Craigslist and then they can create a legitimate, real business earning
Well, yeah, I mean, the key is you do actually have to have a business purpose, but to me, just preserving family wealth can be a business purpose. So just your home can be a business. Typically, you'd like to have some sort of revenue or income for it, so you can get creative.
First of all, we're going to be using some Aphrodite's bitters. This is a combination of chocolate, chili, and coffee. So we're just going to do about 2 dashes of that, just to give it a little bit of a chocolate note, a little bit of spiciness as well. And then we're going to use some Moroccan bitters. Why? Because I wanted to have just a little tad of spiciness, but not like heat as if you wouldn't have jalapenos, you know? So just a couple of drops of that.
West Indies limped out of the ICC Cricket World Cup with hardly a whimper on Thursday when they crashed to a 125-run defeat to powerhouses India at Old Trafford. Batting first, India made 268 for 7 off their 50 overs, with captain Virat Kohli top scoring with a man-of-the-match 72 and former skipper MS Dhoni getting an unbeaten 56. Seema Kimra Roach was outstanding, finishing with 3 for 36 from his 10 overs, while captain Jason Holder and fellow pacer Sheldon Cottrell claimed 2 wickets apiece.
That's the first 6 for Rohit Sharma.
That's beautifully bowled. It's the perfect length. And they reviewed it.
Yeah, I've got conclusive evidence. So I'm going to get Richard to reverse your decision from not out to out.
Well, Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul cannot believe it. They've thrown their head in the air.
Well done. This is absolutely brilliant.
There will be runs, and runs in style against Jason Holder. It's a lovely shot from KL Rahul, risky but down the ground. Now then, he's gone through. He's not going to get the 50, but 48's a decent contribution. Jason Holder caps off a good spell with a wicket.
Top edge. Well, that finds the fence. It's a good delivery to Virat Kohli. Outside edge, and he strikes. A very good delivery to Vijay Shankar. And a much-needed breakthrough for the West Indies.
Well, we get the 50 now. His 4th 50 in a row, 4th World Cup 50 in a row. Into Peel straight away. They are reviewing.
Richard have got conclusive evidence that the ball has hit the bat. Going to get you to reverse your decision.
India 140 for 4 now in a spot of bother, with Kedar Jadhav gone for 7.
Oh, he's found the fielder. Jason Holder's got a wicket. It was almost a long hop.
So he does hit it over mid-off, so hits it well.
This time over covers. Does he get to the deep point fielder? Yes, it does. It's an easy catch. An appeal will be, yes, Mohammad Shami walks. Another wicket for Cottrell, another wicket for the West Indies.
That's hit very well by MS Dhoni. It's a half century for MS Dhoni. No, he goes short. Why would you go short when the Yorker has been working so well, O'Shane Thomas? India finish at 268%.
In reply, the Caribbean side's batting fell apart spectacularly to see them all out for 143 in the 35th over. Sunil Ambrose, in his first game of the tournament, outscored with 31, while Nicholas Puran made 28.
He pulls it this time, and it goes to mid-on. The pace does him at the end.
Oh, the first genuinely authoritative shot Really went off the bat well. First boundary, Shehope. Oh, knocks him over. What a bowler this Mohammad Shami is.
Good dive, but can't make it.
First boundary for Sunil Ambris.
Make every run count. That's a terrific shot. He's found the gap as well. Inside edge. The finger has been raised. The batsman seems keen to walk. Not keen to walk, but showing signs of wanting to walk. Rahul is quick, but is he quick enough? No, he isn't.
3 wickets down already. It's gone a long way up, but not far enough, I don't think. Easily taken. Did I say 3 wickets down? Make it 4.
And straight into the hands of covers. Another soft dismissal. Outside edge. And that's what Virat Kohli wanted. A good catch by MS Dhoni. He hasn't had a great day behind the stumps. But the experienced campaigner hangs on to this one. An appeal. Yes, he does again. When the ball gets old, bring back Jasprit Bumrah.
Oh, taken. Just a bit of room. Shimran Hetmaya. Oh, there he goes again. He's got loads of bat on this. Oh, how number 10 would enjoy that shot. Now that'll be out there. It's a game of chess, isn't it? Something Chahal was very good at when he was a child. Now, what's that gone off there? He's claiming it. He's claiming it. There's a review left.
Richard, got conclusive evidence that the ball has come off the glove. Going to get you to reverse your decision from not out to out.
India march on.
After the match, a dejected Jason Holder still heaped praises on the team.
The bowlers did a fantastic job on this surface, and I couldn't really ask them for more. The guys gave a really good effort in the field. I guess we just let ourselves down with the bat.
And that's the sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Welcome to this year's 50th Caribbean Broadcast Union Assembly on the island of San Andres. San Andres is a small archipelago located in between Jamaica and Panama in the Western Caribbean Sea. A lush, exotic island rich in culture, history, gastronomy, and breathtaking scenic views. Known for its beaches and 7-colored crystalline waters, the island of San Andres will be proudly hosting this year's event. CBU members will enjoy top-of-the-line accommodations for an unforgettable experience in San Andres, connecting Caribbean nations through this year's 50th edition of the CBU Assembly.
The competition is so tough that it's unbelievable. Every single boat in the Crackers down here is fast. And these guys are lifetime veterans at the sport. This is our first year. Steve's only driven the boat twice so far. And he's knocking them out right and left. The kid was just born with it. So he took my job away. That's fine, okay? I'll work on it. He can drive it.
That's Caribbean Newsline. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good night.